This is something we started last time. Surprise of enjoying suffering. And I don't know how far we went into it, but I mentioned it is something we could talk about more because for me it was, well, I don't remember what we said, but
Yeah.
I definitely know, like, it's essentially saying that really it's like the surprise of enjoying when you take suffering out of that sentence, because when you no longer see suffering as suffering, then you are enjoying. And it's not like, oh, I'm a masochist or something, I'm enjoying pain, but pain, as we just talked about a second ago, the suffering becomes more neutral, and then when it becomes more neutral, then it slowly, or it can open up then into you're just enjoying yourself. And if something comes up that used to be suffering, you're no longer reacting to it the same way, so it's not, and so it's neutral, or it's moving into ease and joy.
Yeah, so this ties right back into what we were just talking about, observing the squirrel and the badger in wildlife, the snake, is if you're
through a camera lens.
Yeah, like one version of suffering, for example, is like, say somebody comes up and you're working customer service and you have to deal with this customer, and the customer seems grumpy, like they've had a bad day or they're just a jerk, whatever, something like that, shouting, anything like that. That would be like the kind of circumstance that people would think, oh, I don't want to suffer through this, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So customer comes at you. The only way that you're going to be able to respond adequately or functionally in any way is if you're not reacting to that and getting internally bottled up and anxious yourself, or like shouting back or anything like that. Like,
joining them in their suffering.
Yeah, just like, oh, person's suffering. Oh, now I'm suffering. I'm tense or something from them, agitated, whatever it is, and maybe expressing it outward to them, or complaining to others after on how I had to deal with this, anything like that. That means you were not there. You were not fully alive and able to operate for a little while because some circumstance got in the way. And that is like seeing the little squirrel go by and then freaking out. Like a little snake going by and freaking out. And like, if you're freaking out, you're not able to just see it for what it is. You're not able to not only just be neutral with it, but then beyond neutral, from neutral, there's now space for you to be like, I can actually see this for what it is, and it's fascinating.
Well, so
the suffering, just, like a person coming at you, angry or whatever, now you can observe it, and it's fascinating. And then you can respond perfectly, and ta-da!
To really listen to someone who's suffering means you're seeing what's going on there and knowing and not being involved in it in a way that you're suffering. And you can just witness the struggle as it is. And it takes definitely the presence and the awareness to not have your own reaction happen that makes you then go from being at ease into suffering too.
And the surprise part comes in probably from if somebody is coming from that human place of reacting and whatever, then they try to step back, detach from it, to live through it and see it for what it is. And then instead of turning out like this kind of neutral robotic thing, the neutrality and the blanket observation of it opens the space for them to respond, and that response is as they want to be, and then they want to be happy because everybody wants to be happy. So then they just end up being happy because they're aware, and awareness just makes happiness. Happiness makes awareness. They're kind of the same. And then, ta-da! You're now just. It's like wow.
Yeah.
I'm not. This is not so bad. This is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It like completely flips from I was suffering to I am now happy having somebody yell at me. This is life. This is cool. It'll pass. And even when it's here, it's fine. Wow. Yeah. But yeah, that happens for a while when a person's still operating from that level and they have to keep tricking themselves to observe, just be aware.
Well, I think another response that can occur is like you're impressed with yourself because you're like, wow, I'm not reacting the same way I had before to similar things.
Another form of surprise. Yeah.
Yeah.